Hi everyone, so what I will be doing today is comparing Manganese Blue Hue to Phthalo Blue Green shade. The original Manganese Blue pigment was discontinued because of its environmental impact, and it was a granulating and bright turquoise color that could be used as a primary cyan. And the Manganese Blue Hue I'm using is from Winsor & Newton, which is made with PB15, and we can see that it looks like a pale bluish turquoise color in hue. So what I'll be doing next is swatching Phthalo Blue Green shade, and the one I'm using is made with PB15:4, and I'll compare these colors side by side, and then after that I'll start making different mixtures. So when I compare these two colors, they both have a bluish turquoise hue, which is expected because they're both made with Phthalo Blue Green shade. But the Manganese Blue Hue is lighter compared to the Phthalo Blue, and it appears that there might be a little bit of granulation in the Manganese Blue Hue. So the first color I'll be mixing with is lemon yellow, which is made with PY3. And we can see that we get pretty bright greens when we mix these two colors together, as Manganese Blue Hue is a cyan leaning color, and cyan and yellow tend to make pretty bright greens. So the next color that I'm mixing my Manganese Blue Hue with is with transparent Pyrrole Orange, made of PO71. And the first mixes give us some dull brown and olive colors. And then as I mix more Manganese Blue Hue into it, we get nice dull greens, which can be useful for different settings, such as landscapes. The next color that I'm mixing with is Quinacridone Red Light, which is made with PR207. And with these mixtures, we can see a dull brownish color first, and then later on we'll see a dull violetish hue. And this is because Quinacridone Red Light is pretty close to red on the color wheel, and Manganese Blue Hue is close to turquoise or cyan, so they would be close to complementary. After mixing with Quinacridone Red Light, I'll mix with Quinacridone Rose, which is made with Gamma PB19. And what we'll see are decent mixes of blues, violets, and purples, as Quinacridone Rose is close to a magenta hue. The next color that I'll be mixing with is Dioxazine Purple, which is made with PV23. And what we'll see are brighter blue and violet mixes compared to the Quinacridone Rose. And this is because Dioxazine Purple and Manganese Blue Hue are closer to each other on a color wheel. Next, I'll be mixing with French Ultramarine, which is made with PB29. And what we'll get are a variety of nice granulating blue colors that can be useful for various applications. The seventh color that I'll be using is Phthalo Green Yellow shade, which is made with PG36. And what we'll see from these mixes are bright teal and aqua tones. So the last three colors I'll be using to mix with are Burnt Umber, Potter's Pink, and Ivory Black, starting with Burnt Umber, which is PBR7. After mixing Manganese Blue Hue with Burnt Umber, we get dull green and aqua tones, which is similar to what we had when we mixed Transparent Pyrrole Orange and Manganese Blue Hue together. So when we mix Manganese Blue Hue with my favorite pigment, Potter's Pink, we get nice neutralized tones, and this is because Potter's Pink is pretty close to the red position on the color wheel. And in addition to that, we also get this nice granulation because Potter's Pink is a granulating color. So with the final color, Ivory Black, which is made with PBK9, we get neutralized and dull turquoise hues, as black neutralizes colors and also darkens colors. So now what I'll do is I'll mix Phthalo Blue Green shade with those 10 colors, and then we can compare what the mixes look like. So now we have the final mixes for both colors, and what we can see is that the mixes with Manganese Blue Hue tend to be paler and maybe even more muted, while the Phthalo Blue Green shade tends to have more intense and deeper colors, as Phthalo Blue Green shade starts at a deeper mass tone compared to Manganese Blue Hue. So overall, I think that Manganese Blue Hue is a nice, pretty bluish turquoise, but I'd probably just stick with Phthalo Blue Green shade for its deeper and more intense mass tone. And I hope you found this video helpful, and next time I'll go over Cobalt Teal.